Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Robert Keil. I also represent here the National Center of Industry 4.0. The second part of the program should be definitely focused on technology transfer in practice. Just to say, we as the National Center of Industry are trying actively to contribute to the implementation of Industry 4.0 principles in the Czech Republic. And we do this via various activities. And one of these activities is definitely being part of international projects. And the whole event, not just today, but also tomorrow and the ongoing day, is the event of the DIH4AI cluster conference and also Winter School focused on artificial intelligence. And therefore, the main thought was to provide you with at least basic notion of technology transfer. Basically, what is it about, what's going on in the Czech Republic, how can you access the finance, etc. And therefore, it's my pleasure to provide you with this information. And therefore, I would like to tackle 3 topics today. First topic is definitely the technology transfer in the Czech Republic. What is it when we talk about tech transfer? Who are the actors? What are the possibilities? Then I would like to move into the overview of financing options. Just a basic overview of some possibilities and maybe even some surprising ones for the financing of the possible project. And the third one, I would like to address specific issues of technology transfer because I see them as maybe the most common issues in this area. So when we are talking about the technology transfer, what is it? The European IPR, Intellectual Private Property Help Desk, says it's the process of transferring intellectual property to the market to generate profit and further growth. It's very much logical. Basically, this definition inherently means that there must be someone who actually owns or is the author of some specific thought or maybe even innovative approach to a certain thing. And the person wants to somehow go to the market, try to somehow implement it to the market, and basically also try to safeguard it. And therefore, the whole technology transfer entails internal product or service development, obviously, transfer of intellectual property rights. When I'll be talking about IPR, it would be intellectual property rights. And then the thing or the phrase that we know as a knowledge transfer. And that means licensing, franchising, creating a joint venture or spin-off companies. Also, this is a specific thing, material transfer agreements, that refers to the agreements that are done between 2 or maybe even more sides while providing a specific material, for instance, hazardous or the dangerous material for the research. And here you can see another, maybe this might be a bit more deep or more comprehensive definition, because these are also activities that are inherently entailed into the whole technology transfer process. Because when you are trying to, for instance, somehow monetize your invention, it usually goes hand in hand with research on the universities. And the research on the universities is obviously also based on academic articles. So publishing and presentation. You need to educate the public about it. You need to do various events and networking activities actually to promote your solution. You need to actually make a lot of consultations, maybe with the specific consultants on very deep technical topics. And definitely career development, collaborative research, licensing, and also the creation of companies. This is something. What can we think about when we think about technology transfer? The basic scheme of the technology transfer, as I've said before, and it also derives from the definition, is that there is some kind of scientific discovery, and basically most of the time it is just between academic and commercial sphere. And these are various models of interaction. How can actually this interaction between academia and commercial or industrial business look like? Firstly, there is a scientific discovery, the WHO moment, the UPEA moment, that some usually researcher thinks that he discovered something important, what might be another use. Then he tests it, and it becomes a technological invention. In this moment, the researcher or the relevant person or responsible person thinks, okay, this is really something. It would be very nice to somehow monetize it, somehow to make it to the world, to the business. And then here comes, in my point of view, the most crucial part, and it's the IPR. So all the activities that needs to be done when trying to safeguard the specific patent, specific research, somehow to maintain your corporative advantage, and really try to safeguard it even for like 5, 10, 20 years. And here comes the decision, actually. What should I do with it? How should I safeguard it? If I think about it, then I also need to come with my invention at least somehow public. That means, for instance, to a specific authority. If I'm thinking about, for instance, patent or probably different, I will talk about it later, but different various types of IPR. So then I definitely need to make my invention public. And actually, this is first problem for many of those researchers and these research-oriented people, because they are afraid of going with that public, because they think that when they actually made it possible even to some authority, there are other peoples that are cannibalizing on these authorities and always try to steal the whole thing, the whole procedure, because actually they know the principles better, because, for instance, they are doing it on a daily basis. So this is like the first thing for the researcher or the person responsible for the invention. If the person thinks that he still wants actually to make it, then he needs to decide how to verify the principle, because usually here this is the place where some kind or notion of MVP, minimal viable product, is created. Here we can see it might be done by different ways. Maybe the easiest way, I would say, would be the license selling, because I've got some product or some service, unique service, and I can think, okay, so maybe I can sell it to some company with specific conditions. They will give me money, and in return they will get the exclusivity of the service. So this is typically, it's actually also very nice thing for someone to do, because it might look like franchising, because it doesn't have to be just one license. The relevant person can sell it or license it even to more companies if in the original agreement is agreed that it's possible with the first provider of the license or of the contract. So it's possible to have some kind of like franchises, and just to have like, for instance, 5 exclusive companies that they can use the product. So this might be very interesting way how to do it. There are definitely other ways. Very popular way is the joint research with industry. That's basically, if you think about how the research is financed, obviously from the articles, obviously from the government or joint project, also from the grants, but definitely as well with the classical collaborative research with the industry. That means that industry knows, for instance, here we are at the Czech Institute of Informatics, Robotics and Cybernetics at CTU Prague. So for instance, maybe you could have already seen at least some machines from testbed. So you see here, for instance, KUKA robots, Siemens machines, Festo machines, Skoda solutions, and so on. And definitely these companies have some needs, and actually, and this is main thing in the actually technical universities, that they provide definitely the contractual research to such companies, and these companies actually sign a contract with some department and or the supervisor of the department, and usually it ends up like that the researchers are actually making, for instance, their diploma thesis, or even postdoctoral students are actually doing this type of research. It's very common. Definitely we can have a lot of discussion whether if it's good or bad, but I don't want to go into the details because it actually solves nothing. I just wanted to point out that definitely this is very common thing how to cooperate. And then in this case, for the final commercialization is responsible the industrial partner. So industrial partner is then someone who uses it and owns it. Interesting way after the principal verification might be going through the scientific incubators. Scientific incubators are typically technology transfer offices made or created by the university. Here at CTU, for instance, the incubator Incubate. And then the solution is creation of spin-off company. This is a specific form of company which I'm going to talk about later. So just to have in mind that this is the way how it's possible while using scientific incubators. Definitely, it's possible to use the commercialization just in academic workplace. This is typically done by providing services from the academic workplace. That means academic workplace has some specific services. It just offers, for instance, to the researcher, or even this doesn't have to be researcher. It might be also someone from R&D department from industry, and they just, for instance, made their testing of a solution on already existing facilities, and this is the academic workplace commercialization who is responsible for final commerce. And last thing, and it's quite obvious, is said that it's a buying a license. And if we would go to some theory, then we would say that these three pillars are usually recognized by the term knowledge and technology transfer. However, I don't think it's necessary to be some kind of dogmatic and just think it without industry. Just for you to have a brief overview about what is actually technology transfer about and how these models of cooperation can work. For some of you, definitely this is something what you actually know very well. You do it maybe day by day. However, I saw the audience, and I think that this might be also interesting. And please also bear in mind then that this event should be maybe more into the basics of technology transfer, because every project is actually unique. And if you'd be interested in really thinking about, for instance, implementing some kind of innovation, then it's definitely up to personal discussion or even recommendation to a responsible person. Who are the actors in technology transfer in the Czech Republic? Definitely academic institutions, the ones actually who do the research, industrial partners or investors. Industrial partners, as I've said before, might be companies that they want to use facilities, department, researchers, do some kind of joint project when the outcome might be also for university an academic article or diploma thesis, etc. For industrial partner, there is a solution to a problem. It might be investor as well. And in the broad sense of thinking of technology transfer, it might be even some kind of investor investing into some specific innovative solution of industrial partner. It might be. But the thing is, usually this works with VC funds or some angel investors, or typically people or funds that they want to be somehow interested in company in terms of percentage of shares. This is topic that I don't want to cover today because it's completely different topic from the others. The only thing that I should say from the experience is if someone would be considering this type of partnership with a strategic investor, etc., then definitely, and I think it's obvious, he must really think about what type or how much power would give the industrial partner from his company to the investor, and what will be the long-term strategy. Because many times it happens that investor has a completely different view or idea than the original industrial partner, and it's then a very, very bad thing how actually to run a company, and it goes usually to the bankrupt. So this is just what I wanted to mention. But obviously, other actors are the subsidy authorities, whether if it's a technological agency of the Czech Republic, whether they are ministries, whether they are some kind of European funds. Usually there is some person who is responsible for managing or administration of the subsidizing or funding program, and definitely you need to cooperate with him, because otherwise you wouldn't be successful when trying to apply for instance, specific program, funding program. Tech transfer offices and knowledge transfer offices are nearly the same. These are specific institutions, usually at the universities, that they really have a specific focus on trying to make the way of some invention into practice. So there will be people that would be responsible for things like certifications, intellectual property, also for a business strategy, and with a lot of contacts to possible people who can actually address certain specific topics, because the portfolio of products is definitely vast and no one can know everything. So these are typically the tech transfer offices. Maybe if you were interested in what they are doing, you should visit the website of Transfera. I know if you know Transfera, this is actually an institution organizing one huge event, Transfera Technology Days. If you were interested in being somehow more in cooperation with actually TTO Republic, then go to the Transfera Technology Days. There will be also presented the most actually innovative solutions that will go through these tech transfer offices. So this is actually the place where to be. And then the other actors are business incubators and science and technology parks. Business incubators obviously offer the consulting services, maybe even some type of financing. Science and technology parks usually offer some kind of infrastructure, or for instance offices, places where to be, and so on. And actually the role of innovation infrastructures in the whole process, I would say, is very crucial, because if you look at several steps, like idea, research development, proof of concept, important thing, proof of concept definitely, then scaling up, then sustainability. There are several institutions responsible for every step, actually tailor-made, that they can consult. And for someone who interested, also an industrial company, that they want to actually have a consultation, it's very good to actually to the public institutions like that and try to counsel with them, because at least they will give you notion where to look for the information, when nothing else. Here I wanted to just show that a big discrepancy between the regions, because obviously the innovation infrastructures are mainly near the biggest cities, and there are some regions where there are nearly none. Maybe more to that, just for you to know, it was in the previous decade, there was a big funding of science and technology parks, which are typical the places where you can go rent some space. Usually there are several companies together in the building, also sharing the knowledge. And actually it was so heavily funded that several of these science technology parks are very well equipped, but nobody uses the equipment. This is the possibility probably how to approach technological transfer as well. Okay, I had to really put it here, because I think there would be something wrong if I wouldn't mention this specific case while talking about technological transfer and actually why it makes sense. I bet many of you know Professor Holly, definitely the biggest success of actually Czech research worldwide, because he was the one who actually discovered anti-HIV or AIDS and hepatitis B drugs developed. And actually from his activities and from their patents, from his activities, there was this company, Gilead Sciences, found. Currently, it's one of the top 10 biggest pharma companies in the world. Maybe you know from the past years the remdesivir drug for COVID. That's from them. The Czech Republic still has literally billions of crowns from patents or from this Professor Holly. And based on this whole activity, the whole IOCB facility was actually built, and it's the state-of-art facility with its own investment fund backed by European Central Bank. So this is really the peak of our research, and I think obviously I had to make this example because it's a worldwide success. And it's a perfect example of idealism, how the technology transfer could really work, and sometimes it happens. Maybe you might be interested as well how, when we talk about the funding of technological innovations, and this might be also important material for our other DIH colleagues from other countries, with DIHs actually being also involved in this project. National financing, I've got here just the numbers for 2021 because the 2022 still aren't available. The good thing is that actually it was still 2% contribution on the state budget when it comes to the expenses. So approximately, I think it was 38 billions of crowns. So still it's 2% niveau, which is considered maybe quite okay. However, actually it seems a bit that it's been a bit declining, and therefore it might be, and we'll see it in the next years, what will the whole crisis, not just COVID, but also energy crisis, do with the state budget, and how the innovations will be funded in the next years. But what are the biggest industries where actually all the expenses come? Definitely automotive industry. I think it really makes perfect sense, because if we talk about industry in general, automotive is the biggest one. Then big race in the year 2021 when we compare it into 2018. This might be also because some kind of research into chips, optic cables, all the peripherals and SSRCs, and also how we develop the technology, for instance, also AI devices. This is maybe the reason why the electrotechnical industry seems pretty much strong. I just wanted to show you that there is a probably tendency going up with the expenditures on R&D, and this is important because these graphs show that many of the companies are really using the services of funding and trying to be somehow connected to the academia while providing specific solutions or applying for projects. This is maybe even more apparent. This might be actually a good topic when talking about whether we need foreign companies in the Czech Republic or not, because here you can see their actually expenditure for R&D. However, even in the Czech companies, it's a huge upscale. And in the previous session, you heard about the possibilities, for instance, digital maturity assessment, all the digitization, etc. This is apparent proof that a lot of companies see it as a possibility, as an opportunity, and maybe it would be wise to consider really implementing some kind of novelty, innovative solution even to your companies. So think about the possibility of really using these experimental facilities and academia, because usually others do it and it makes sense in economic viewpoint. Now, what are the financing options? I've briefly introduced you to the tech transfer topics, tech transfer world, and now it's about to think about, okay, maybe I'm thinking about implementing some kind of new solution. How can I finance it? Because obviously it's very costly. There are several financing options. I try to pick up some of probably the most important for you as for the members of the AI community, whether researchers, whether companies. First one, I would definitely recommend to follow Technological Agency of the Czech Republic, because there are, and I know that some of you really know that very well, so I'm sorry if you heard it for many times, but this is a timeline of actually new competitions and new programs that are going to be into work in year 2023. But more specifically, I think one of them for that might be really suited for you is technological leaders, basically supporting the research and development of new products, processes, and services, establishment in the foreign markets, and it's intended both for research organizations and companies, also even in Prague, because some types of financing and programs, it isn't allowed for the companies based in Prague to apply for such a program. So here it's possible. Basically, you just have to have some experience in research or development by whether own efforts or help with of a research organization by externally purchasing research and development services, which is definitely possible here in Institute of Informatics, Robotics and Cybernetics as well. The estimated date of application or the deadline should be in April. Maximum amount of support is quite huge because, or not that small, so to say, 15 million of Czech crowns per one project. Support rate is up to 70% of eligible costs, and research organizations can receive up to 90% support for additional activities. Maybe I'd like to ask who here from the audience actually applied for some project from Tachra? Is there someone? Oh, okay, better. Fine. I would really recommend you to follow this institution because throughout the years there always are apparent some calls, and maybe it's a wise decision to think about the possibility of some kind of innovation, or actually what would you need to have financed in the company, and have a thought prepared, some kind of maybe sketch of the project, and then wait for the perfect possibility to apply for such a project. Because the main thing, or from my own experience, what I know from the companies, the main thing is don't want to go through the whole administrative procedure, and obviously one did it and weren't successful, are really angry and probably won't be applied again. That's a bad approach, because if you really know what you want and there is some kind of open call or program that you really fit in, it's then probably quite a smooth procedure, maybe smoother than you would expect. So definitely follow Technological Agency of the Czech Republic and try to apply for some kind of financing from the program. Trend Technological Leaders is definitely one that I would be looking for. Second one is the virtual enterprise. We were talking about that a bit in the previous session. Basically, it's the support for the digitization, possibly automation. It should lead to improve the business processes. Maybe the amount of funding is not that huge, but still quite nice way how to improve the process. Just for you to know, firstly, if you want to apply for this project, you should approach one of three methodologies from actually a digital maturity assessment. So you can approach via our assessment to apply for this virtual enterprise. The third one that's the operational program technology and application for competitiveness, and with its undercall, or how should I call it, application. The application focuses on supporting research and development projects with market potential. So again, another way, a possibility for financing an innovative solution. Who can be funded? Here, it's also and the projects can be really huge. However, the line is nearly there, but I am showing you these type of projects or the calls just to spark a bit of interest from you, because even though, for instance, this call will end, the other one will be issued, because, for instance, these funds, the program technology application competitiveness, it's a program where I have the numbers here. It actually be valid until year 2027, and the whole allocation for the project is 80 billion of Czech crowns. So there will be open calls every year, maybe twice a year. So don't be afraid, and really try to follow Technological Agency and this operational program. Another one is innovation, small, medium, and large enterprises again. innovation is for the purchase of machines, hardware, software, and others. Could be also acquired in the form of licenses or patents. And the other one would be potential. Here you can be funded actually for acquisition of technology and research equipment. So as you can see, the programs are very, very similar, and it always depends on the discussion with the relevant person who administrates the project, what would be the best project for you. Therefore, I would recommend you to have this consultation and discussion. Proof of concept. As the name says, proof of concept, very important for especially companies in their early stages or smaller companies. That's also why the project can get from 0.3 to 10 millions of crowns with a support percentage of 50 to 70%. Then there is also a good thing when, if you remember, I was talking about the innovation infrastructure and about various innovation centers. You can actually access to them, and especially if you're based in some region, they typically have, and Peter could confirm definitely from Innovation Center of the UST region, possibilities, for instance, for innovation vouchers. Here in this case, I meant the whole program from what was it? MŽP? I don't know right now. But still, it's possible to monitor also the infrastructures, even the smaller ones, because they might have probably good product, and they would be actually happy to have some client with whom actually they can provide some technological solution, because this is actually what everyone seeks, and actually what we are trying to do, even though it's sometimes hard to really try to merge together academia facilities that are apparent, financing and go through the whole procedure of actually making project or specific solution into practice. And everyone would be happy if it would make sense, and if everyone has it in their KPIs, etc., etc. So definitely they would be actually very much open to you. Then there is a specific program. It's a huge one. It's a program, technology incubation, which actually aims at startup companies. The main thought behind it is that it should support up to 250 innovative startups with an amount approximately 850 million Czech crowns in 7 key areas or 6 key areas, because you will see one of the business incubator is still not in operation. However, this is very important, or I think this is very good possibility for a startup company, because they can actually get pretty much money. If you think about it, 1.1 up to 4.5 millions of crowns per startup company, plus 500,000 in the form of workshops, seminars, etc. Incubation up to 2 years. For a startup company, I mean, they don't have very much capital. That's a crucial and vital thing. So I don't know if someone here is from the startup community, or probably thinking about some startup creation. This might be a very, very good program how to approach it. And all is without losing a stake in the company, which is especially for a startup crucial. Now, currently, the second call is running. It's operated by Czech Invest, and these are the areas, especially the AI hub areas of interest, and where actually you can approach. So I would recommend that AI hub. They are really actively seeking startups up to 5 years old, also even students, because if you think about it, they do the whole procedure. They can provide you with the consulting even before starting a startup company. They can provide you with the mentoring. They've got a pool of mentors, business mentors, technological mentors, technology transfer officers. They can also provide you with the international marketing and PR. So they are really looking for students innovative companies, spin-offs, basically young people or young companies, people/companies who are innovative. That's the place, technology incubation. And then I would like to move on to two specific projects actually that were possible by activities like Institute of Physics, Robotics, Cybernet, or CTU in general. One is testing and experimental facilities for artificial intelligence. Basically, it's a European program funded from the program called Digital Europe. The main thing is that throughout Europe, there should be actually created an European network of so-called nodes. Here is one node. It should be a combination of physical and virtual facilities where technology providers can obtain technological support for testing their AR solutions. So basically, if you think about it in practice, it's some kind of institution like that actually has specific equipment, extremely intelligent and skilled people that can help with developing the solution with the facility. And here actually is the money for trying to put your AI solution into practice. And when we are talking about TEF, it's for the products, or maybe not products, but for the solutions that they are on the technological readiness level from 6 to 8. That means it is nearly a product, nearly a fine-tuned product, but needs the fine-tuning. And this is if you are in the phase of maybe fine-tuning or trying to find another possible applications. Here is where to go. TEF, the program. You can approach it via us, National Center of Industry 4.0, or via Czech Institute of Informatics, Robotics, and Statistics. And then there's also another project, another possibility of funding, which is European Digital Innovation Hub, EDIH. As you can see, it's the Digital Europe program. But the thing is that there was created here at CTU so-called Digital Innovation Hub for the field of artificial intelligence that should actually provide solutions and services in machine learning, AI, and transferring these solutions into the industry. And actually, this should be done by providing you as with services. There will be created a list of services that actually you can apply for. Mainly, these services will be in the test before invest activities, but maybe I can go to that. And the mechanism, it's actually 3 million euros per next 3 years. And the mechanism is that if there is some service, for instance, creation of a feasibility study, and you are interested in making some kind of feasibility study for for development of your product or AI solution, and the solution or the service would cost, let's say, 100. So then the EDIH should find a percentual part of the whole service for you, and therefore you would get a discount on a service, so to say. It would be a pretty big discount. I'm not sure right now, but I think in test before invest services in general, it's 80%, even at some maybe 100. No. It was just 80%. I remember. So it's very, very important thing to consider, because there will be a possibility really to use the machines, to use the know-how, to use the services, to use the departments for developing a solution and get actually a big discount on this type of services. The services will be or are intended for startups and spin-offs, small and medium enterprises, mainly manufacturing companies, and state and public administration. Large enterprises could obviously for as well. However, they won't get any discount on the services. So it's really typically designed for small medium companies that they would like to use actually what's here, whether it's the equipment, whether it's the know-how, and so on. So these are the test before invest services. As you can see, I've mentioned feasibility studies. You heard about digital maturity assessment, but there are a lot of others: prototyping, IoT sensor and communication networks, consulting services, equipment and infrastructure rental. You can rent some of the machine or part of this test bed and try to develop your solution or whatever you need to develop. It's possible. Other part is definitely support to find investment. So the services of EDIH will be informing, also advising and supporting finding investment consulting, providing consultation on and support services, and also provision of premises and related infrastructure. Other part would be advanced digital skills and training. So there will be several educational courses that will be tailor-made in the field of artificial intelligence. Here you can see actually, sorry for that, the main topics of these type of skills and training. For instance, here I would like you to have a look at this one, because it's a typically possibility to get to a specific association or technology where you need to pay for. That means International Data Spaces Association and technologies connected with that, or Gaia-X technology. This is the federative cloud infrastructure, mainly for cloud providers that they would like to develop their solutions based on standards of Gaia-X. So that would be possible, get financed as well. And innovation system and networking, basic activities. So this would be finance from EDIH, and I wanted to show it to you because I think it's a quite unique opportunity. The EDIH was established right on the 1st of January. It was a lot of work to do, and we hope that it would be really useful, especially for small medium enterprises. So to wrap up the part of financing, I know it's a lot of information. However, I would very much encourage you, if you are considering some kind of technological development, follow Technology Agency of Czech Republic, specifically the programs Strength and Virtual Enterprise. Then the possibilities coming up from operational program that I've mentioned before. And then definitely have in mind that there are also possibilities how to utilize and use testbed or the whole facility or the know-how of the people from the university and also from the partners of consortia by using EDIH services. So, and last thing what I would like to address are the specific issues of technology transfer in practice, because this is something when, or if I heard about, or if I hear about technology transfer, these are the most or utmost important topics that I think that solves nearly everyone. First is, what is patent versus utility model? What should I use and why? Both of these instruments serve to protect technological solutions. Both can be enforced with equal effectiveness, and both must meet conditions of novelty and innovation. This is the same for both of them. However, then there are very differences between patent and utility model. Patent here. Typically, the enrollment for patent, it takes several years. However, it's valid without exceptions. Whereas utility model, the enrollment is pretty easy. It takes just 5 months, 2 to 3 in the Czech Republic. Utility model also will limit the competition. That means that if you have a utility model here in the Czech Republic, so no other company can actually use the exact solution that you have the utility model on. So you are protected. However, there are some exceptions for methods. So if you want to, for instance, have a specific safeguard for your protection, specific measurement or usage of a process or machine, this won't be possible via utility model. Also have in mind that a utility model is not recognized worldwide, especially here I mentioned US and also Great Britain, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland. Whereas patent is actually valid without any exceptions, even though there are two types of patent law, which I don't want to go into the details because even we don't have a time for that. But in general, patent is worldwide known, and if you want to feel more safe, probably, then go for patent because it's also perceived as more prestigious, and it will also give you longer protection for 20 years. When it comes for drugs, it's 25 years. Whereas utility model is just 10-year protection, varies on the specific nations, and varies from 5 to 15 years. For that purpose, there is also, I can give also here some kind of license, because if you remember in the beginning, I mentioned licensing as a possibility. And my recommendation would be always think about what would you want to do with the product, what market would you like to serve, where you want to be actually apparent, because then after that you can solve this intellectual property. Because for instance, if you would go to the US or would like to someday go into the US, then it doesn't make sense to have a utility model. However, if you have a product that really needs to fast development and you don't need to wait for several years, then patent makes no sense. So, and this is the utmost topic of technological transfer, where a lot of companies actually end their activities in technological transfer. Then, specific topic: a spin-off company, legal entity, purpose of commercialization of scientific work, and it's carried by the research organization. Here, for instance, spin-off company, Trix Connections. Maybe you remember RP95 anti-COVID respirator or mask. So that was developed via spin-off. And definitely, there are several topics why actually someone might want to establish a spin-off company. Definitely someone who needs a dynamic development, because they've got a product, especially for instance for public health or something like that. They want to have a better chance to serve to the people, doesn't need to wait for all the administrative procedures, then it makes sense. Secondly, obviously greater flexibility of the decision-making process. I think it's quite obvious. Also, it shifts risks outside from the university. For instance, the risk of losses, economic losses, or damage risks, depends on what you do, but this is something also worth considering. And you can see other reasons like personal policy and marketing purposes. So these are the reasons why someone starts, mainly a researcher, via some kind of contract and mutual agreement with the university, a spin-off company. It can actually be established via various possibilities, and also there are various financing and legal aspects. What I would like maybe to say here is that even though spin-off company is not a common type of a company established here in the Czech Republic, actually the possibilities for functioning of such a company are pretty vast. You can actually choose very well what works for you the best, and as you can see, the ownership, usage rights doesn't have to be any problem. And the last thing what I would like to mention is the access to. Asi nebude potřeba. access to the existing infrastructure. I've already mentioned it before, but I've mentioned science and technology parks where there are many machines and possibilities really to use these machines for purpose of further development. Here, for instance, you will see it tomorrow, and I'm sorry for today because I know it's a bit boring because it's a lot of information and theoretical information. Tomorrow, you will hear specific examples of cooperation and specific examples of possibilities of specific projects, so it would be more interesting. And then you will see the test bed as well, which I actually very much recommend. However, we wanted to give you some kind of overview before to get you really experienced about the topic. And the test bed represents actually a great example of how it can work, because here in CTU, CERC CTU, as well as in CETEC Brno, and 2 other facilities in Saarbrücken, there was a huge project actually funded by 50 million euros issued, and this was actually building such a test beds that they would actually collaborate together, contribute to the implementation of principles of Industry 4.0, and will represent the peak of the distributed manufacturing based on the digital twin technology. And obviously, throughout the years, it's always getting bigger and bigger. Other test beds as a nodes want to be also in touch and in cooperation, and that's apparent. For instance, in Ostrava test bed, who actually is also a part of the whole infrastructure. This is the one at CERC CTU. This is just one floor. There is also a second floor down below, also a center of 3D printing technologies in Brno. Actually, it was open 1 month ago, finally. So here is the testbed at CETEC VUT Brno. This is testbed Ostrava. Every testbed is quite unique because it has a quite specific technology, specific thought how it's built, and also the people that they are actually using these machines and are responsible for the whole testbed are having a specific plan in mind, like a puzzle box, actually how to connect all these testbeds together and really focus all the topics necessary for Industry 4.0. So for instance, this Ostrava testbed, I would definitely say there is a lot of applications in automotive industry, also specific home care appliances. Just think about there are actually two rooms where people live. They have sensors all of their bodies. For instance, in the bed, there is a optical cable, and they are making projects like, for instance, for handicapped people, when you want to blink with your eye, then you can turn on TV. So even things like that. So really interesting. And the test beds or the whole infrastructure is something really quite unique, state of the art, even on the whole European level. And here is the possibility actually to access it and get actually the benefits from accessing to it. And here, I hope that even though it was a lot of information, I've explained you that there are several ways of financing, and there is a definitely possible via National Center of Industry or CERC or whoever is responsible to actually get in touch with us and to get the overview of or specific information regarding a specific project that you might be considering, even with a big discount on services. And this is the last thing, because I've told you a lot of things when it comes to technological transfer. It's just the whole area, so this was just really the basics. However, if there are some recommendations that I could give to some small medium enterprises mainly, definitely if you're thinking about really applying for some project for funding, define your project well. Think about what, when, where, how long, and why. Classical, but sometimes it's really the main issue, because in, for instance, the intellectual property rights, people don't know what to look for, whether if it's utility model, whether should I license it, what should I do with that, how much can I spend, where I will be operating geographically, etc., etc. These are definitely different things to actually have in mind at the first place. Then do not be afraid to approach to the providing institution, because as I've said before, they even have their own KPIs. The people there are pretty skilled, or at least should be. So they will give you actually good way how to approach, or what should be the next steps. Then if you have some project in mind, it's always good to have in mind that for make it successful, you have to delegate a single responsible person for the project. Typically, as for example, from one from company near Chomutov, they applied for a project from operational programs. They were really successful. The project made sense. It was a very well-backed company, very stable family company, but they were so pissed off, I have to say like that, because there was such an administrative procedure, and they made it even more difficult, because they actually designed 3 people for 3 specific areas of the project, and there was also a communication problem between them. So it's very important to have in mind that the projects, that applying for a project isn't maybe that easy, and that you would need to assign really to a single responsible person for the project. However, if you do it, you can be successful, and after that it can be smoother than you expected. Expect problems and delays, obviously. It will happen, it happens all the time, nothing is ideal. However, it still pays off. Then, if you have a lot of money, use consulting services. It's obviously also, we can discuss it a lot, whether using some kind of external consultants, whether it's good for the society or not. However, the thing is that they actually can give you a good advice. So if you have a lot of money and maybe you need really to push into a result, maybe this might be a good way actually how to approach it. And lastly, really don't be afraid to approach academia, because especially on the technical universities, the people and especially the leaders of the departments are really willing to help, and also that not just having specific, but also need companies doing the specific works. For instance, if you want to integrate a robotic cell with specific energy optimization algorithm, so then perfect way how to approach to some department, and they will tell you, okay, maybe we are not able to do it, or we don't want to do it, but here is a list of 5 companies and 10 people that you should approach, and it really makes the whole procedure very much easier. So really don't be afraid to approach academia and use the existing infrastructure, not just the test beds,